Hello, women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jacquie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, I get to introduce to you Tiffany Goddard, Vice President of Sales with Carahsoft, and Tiffany was also the 2024 CRN Woman of the Year winner for Executive Mentor of the Year for Solution Provider. Hi, Tiffany. How are you doing?
Hi, Jacquie. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I am so excited to get to know you better. So we will dive into those icebreaker questions. So we'll start off, where do you live and where do you grow up, if that's different?
Yeah, so I live in Northern Virginia in a city, Gainesville, and that's actually where I grew up. So me and my husband were gonna move somewhere else, and then we had kids and came right back to where I grew up. So it's the same.
That's great, though. I love that you're close to family. That's really, really nice. I'm sure it's great for your kids as well.
Yes, great to have babysitters on demand.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. A must have. All right. What is a little known fact about you that you're willing to share with, our community here?
So, my little known fact is a little bit boring because I couldn't think of a little known fact about me, but something cool that my family does is my kids are very competitive fighters. So, they're wrestlers and they practice jiu-jitsu. And
Wow.
it's really taken us to some cool places. Next week, we're going to be in Dallas, Texas. The month after that, we're going to be in Las Vegas. They really, really love it. Although, as a mom, it's a little bit anxiety inducing to watch. It's really fun to be able to take them all these places and do something that they love. So, little known fact, I'm on the weekends, I'm somewhere watching wrestling and jujitsu.
Not boring at all. And that is so cool that the kids get to travel and do something they love and you get to watch them do it. I could totally relate on it being nerve-wracking, but also how proud you must be. So that is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of things that we're proud of, how about sharing a business accomplishment that you're most proud of?
That's a good question. I would say, as you already mentioned, I was awarded the Woman of the Year Executive Mentor by CRN in 2024. And that was a real career highlight for me. And it wasn't just the award. Obviously, that was nice and the recognition was great and the gala was beautiful. But being recognized as a mentor meant a lot to me. I've mentored 51 people in my current company, Carahsoft, 33 of which are women. And I can't tell you how rewarding it is to watch them grow, not just professionally, but just overall in confidence. It's really cool to watch someone. I'll take them to a meeting with me and they'll sit there for an hour and not say a word because they just don't want to speak up. They're not sure of their questions or they're not sure of their talking points, and then watch them grow into not only being an active participant in the meeting, but running the meeting and really speaking up. And I speak a lot at women's conferences about mentorship. And when I bring up that aspect of speaking up, I would say that that always kind of gets the conversation flowing because I think it's such a pain point for, especially when you're younger or in the early part of your career, when you go to those meetings with executives, um, you're a little bit quieter. And I was
Yeah, yeah.
watching, yeah, and watching the folks that I've mentored really grow into business leaders is such a rewarding thing for me.
I love that. You should definitely be proud of. All right. What is something that you've learned that you wish you knew early in your career?
There are many things that I've learned across the last, 17, 18 years. But I would say in talking to other people, and I think this is just a lesson for everybody, something that I wish I knew even 10 years ago was I'm a hard worker. And I've
Hmm.
always been a hard worker. And I've assumed that my efforts would kind of be naturally rewarded and naturally recognized. And sometimes they are, but over time, I realized that being effective wasn't 100% enough. You really have to ensure that your contributions are being shared and valued. And that means advocating for yourself. And I think, particularly with women, sometimes it's hard to, you feel like it's boasting. or you're being overly confident, but really it's positioning yourself for opportunities to grow. So I would say I've learned that I should share my ideas, I should share my aspirations, I should share my achievements, and kind of know your worth and negotiate for it. And again, it's not boasting, it's more of a you have the confidence. And if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody will. So advocate for
Yeah.
yourself. Ask for the promotion, ask for the raise, ask for the new project, and make sure that you know why you're worthy of that promotion or whatever the case may be.
That is really great advice. And it's something that I, continuously have to work on myself. Tough sometimes saying, hey, look at this like thing that I did or project that I completed, or these were the metrics. But it's just like you said, if you're not, talking about it and advocating for yourself, then others aren't going to, and they may not even know to. We're in like, very, very fast paced, busy world. And, sometimes it's not neglect that someone's not seeing it. It just might be things are crazy. And so I love that you give that advice.
It's so important. And to your point too, letting your aspirations be known. Had someone, and luckily I was able to save them, but he came to me and he said, well, I was overlooked for a new project management position that we created. And I said, yeah, but I had no idea you were interested in the project management path. And I think you'd be great at it. But I just had no idea that that was an
Yeah.
aspiration that he had. And I found a way to save him, thankfully, because he's a good employee. But letting your aspirations be known, even if there isn't a position right now for it, there could be one that's opened up, and hopefully someone is looking out for keeping you in mind for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fantastic advice. What are some patterns that you've noticed over the years with, women at work and things that maybe we could be doing better to advance our career other than things we've already been discussing?
Yeah, I think a pattern that I see a lot with women is perfectionism and kind of that over preparation. And I'm guilty of it. I think that, yep, exactly. Both of us, same boat. I think a lot of times women think that they have to be 100% qualified for something to even ask for it, or they have to be 100% prepared. Two ways that I've made that mistake in the last couple of years is, like I mentioned, I speak to at women's events sometimes about mentorship. And the first time I did it, I said, but my speech isn't perfect and I don't have all of my research done and I don't have all of my ducks in a row. And had I waited till it was quote unquote perfect, I probably would have never started, because it's never going to be perfect. I always
Yeah.
find I'll see a video and I'm like, I can't say it that way, or, oh, you should have said this. So it's always a growing thing. And then at my job at Carahsoft, one of my specialties is I take on new kind of technology verticals. And so I'm learning about right now, for example, the fintech vertical. And when I was assigned that, I was like, well, I don't know anything about fintech. So I went into the first meeting, and this is only a few months ago, so I'm learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went into the first meeting with a fintech vendor, and for maybe 24 for a day, I researched everything I could on the fintech industry. And then I realized I don't need to be perfect in it to get it started. I just need to know enough and take some of these meetings as almost a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
And man, and I kind of thought about it as I was prepping for this and for this talk. I was like, I did that a few months ago where I over prepared. I focused on everything being perfect, where you just sometimes have to jump in, even if you're not 100% qualified to take on whatever you're doing. I think that's a pattern that we can all break and take calculated risk.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's don't know everything, and honestly, like people like interest in what they're doing. So like even coming there and saying like, "Hey, can you explain XYZ to me, or what is this, or tell me a little bit about you and your company?" Like people like to talk about what they do. I think it brings people joy, and you're also showing interest in what they're doing. And so maybe just flipping that narrative and okay, I don't know everything, because you won't. Perfectionism is one that we have to keep practicing for sure.
Yes. You don't have to be perfect at it to do it.
No. Oh, I enjoyed talking to you so much. The time goes by so fast, but for now, Thank you so much for allowing our community to get to know you a little more and sharing your insights with us and allowing us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to do so. It was great chatting with you, and thanks for everything.
Yeah. All right, community members, please give Tiffany your high five. Maybe your insights and tips that you have. The conversation was not meant to end here. So until next time, have an amazing week.